The sky above Earth was changing. Dark clouds were rolling in, but not the kind that brings rain. These were the heavy, toxic ones, born from pollution, war, and chaos. Somewhere in the middle of the noise and panic, a single stickman stood tall. No one knew where he came from. No flashy entrance, no grand speech, just a silent figure with glowing eyes and a burning determination to fix what humanity broke. The people laughed at first. What could a stick figure do against the destruction of an entire planet? But Stickman didn't flinch. He jumped into action, literally diving into a nearby factory chimney like it was a portal. Inside, he tore down machines spewing black smoke and replaced them with glowing green cores. Within seconds, clean energy hummed where smog once ruled. He zipped across continents with the speed of lightning. Oceans filled with trash? Stickman didn't just clean them, he built barriers of coral and underwater robots to prevent future pollution. Sea creatures followed him like loyal allies, recognizing the purity in his mission. Above the waves, satellites captured his actions, and slowly, the laughter turned to awe. But not everyone was cheering. The billionaires running Earth's destruction weren't ready to give up their power. They sent their enforcers, robot armies, drones, and politicians with empty promises. Stickman faced them all, not with weapons, but with truth. Every time he exposed a lie or flipped a polluting machine into a clean one, the world saw it. He didn't speak, but his actions shouted. Forests regrew where wildfires had once raged. Cities once choked by smog were breathing again. Kids in masks tossed them aside to feel wind on their cheeks. In one village, a little girl painted Stickman on her wall, arms raised to the stars. For her, he was more than a hero. He was hope. Then came the climate storms, hurricanes of flame, acid rainfalls, and collapsing ice shelves. Stickman couldn't be everywhere at once, so he did something bold. He cloned himself. Hundreds of stickmen rose from the ground like shadows, each one connected to his core. They spread out, fighting disasters on every front. Each stickman had their mission. One diverted lava from a village. Another planted 10,000 trees in minutes. One battled a mega polluter in a corporate skyscraper. Around the globe, news anchors tried to explain it. The Stickman phenomenon, they called it. But no headline could capture the feeling. Earth was healing. Still, the core problem wasn't the disasters. It was humanity's mindset. Stickman knew he couldn't save Earth alone forever. So he began teaching, not with words, but by example. Children followed him, mimicking his actions. Adults, ashamed of their inaction, started joining in. Towns competed to be cleaner, greener, better. And in the skies above, something shifted. Satellites beamed back images of the ozone mending, of polar bears returning, of the Amazon breathing again. It wasn't magic, it was momentum. The world was learning how to care, and Stickman had lit the spark. But the villains weren't done. They created a synthetic Stickman, dark, twisted, and full of rage. Its mission? Undo everything the real Stickman had fixed. When the two finally faced off, the battle wasn't physical. It was a test of vision. One fought for control, the other for harmony. And in the end, the world had to choose. They chose right. People rallied behind the original Stickman. With every act of kindness, the fakes lost power. And when a child gave her toy to a stranger in need, the synthetic cracked like glass and faded. The war wasn't won with fists, but with empathy. As the world calmed, the Stickman returned to their source, merging back into one. He stood atop the highest mountain, eyes glowing softer now. He looked around at the cleaner skies, greener lands, clearer waters. And then, for the first time, he smiled.
Without warning, Stickman leapt into the clouds, leaving behind only footprints made of light. People searched for him in forests, oceans, and cities, but he was gone. Not missing, just done. His mission complete. Yet his legacy remained. Murals, stories, animations, games. Stickman had become a legend. But more than that, he'd become a lesson. That even the smallest figure, without a voice, could change the course of a planet. Years later, when Earth faced a new threat, a child looked up at the stars and whispered, "Where are you, Stickman?" And deep in the forest, a spark lit up. A branch bent into a familiar shape. And somewhere, Stickman returned, ready once again. Because Earth didn't just need saving, it needed reminding that heroes don't wear capes, and sometimes they don't even have faces. But when they act, the world listens. And so, the story of Stickman continues, not just as a tale of rescue, but a call to action. A reminder that we all have a part to play. That even with no powers, no fame, and no words, we can be the difference. As long as there's a tree to protect, a sea to clean, or a lie to challenge, Stickman will be there. Not in shadows, not in fame, but in every action that makes this world better. Because he's not just a hero, he's us.